because B bought from C 15 years ago still shows up on the title report. It doesn't make sense. How could it be that when B bought from C, the title company allowed them to close with that old Citibank mortgage there? Chances are very, 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 very good that the title company did not allow that, and there was some sort of a mess up somewhere in the chain. Either a county clerk misrecorded something, or a title company misfiled something, and really the title company took care of that at the closing from C to B. So what happens in that situation is title company A, who's doing the deal today, will go back to title company B that did the deal, 15 years ago, and say, hey, let me see your title policy from that closing. And if it turns out that they dealt with that mortgage and they properly omitted that mortgage, there's a mutual indemnification agreement between the two title companies, between all title companies in New York, and title company B will indemnify title company A, and with that indemnification in place, and with what we call prior title company clearance, we'll omit it from the current title report. So people freak out sometimes. They see that and say, oh my God, why is this showing up? In most cases, in the vast overwhelming majority of cases, there was some snafu that went wrong. Don't worry about it. There's a mutual indemnification agreement between all the title companies, and we'll get that cleared up. Last major thing on clearing Schedule P mortgage exceptions has to do with ancient mortgages. If a mortgage is small enough and old enough, and there's been no claim for payment of the mortgage, so sometimes you'll see $12,000 mortgage from 1967. Nobody knows what the heck it is. Nobody's seen it. Seller is saying to you, this guy has been dead for 35, 40 years. He never asked for the money. I paid him. I don't know why it's still showing up. The dollar amount is small enough. If the age is old enough, and if the seller, who would have been the borrower under that mortgage, is willing to sign an affidavit that says that no claim and no request for payment has been made, for X number of years, and this title company will omit what we call an ancient mortgage. Doesn't mean it goes back to Greek and Roman times. We're usually talking 20, 25, 30 years. We consider that an ancient mortgage. We don't think considered ancient if it's $1 million mortgage. We consider if it's a much, much smaller number. That's another thing that happens with mortgage when it comes to exceptions. Let me at this point do one more of our secret codes. And again, I'm going to tell you that you're going to need to put these codes in when you finish with the program and you're ready to print out your certificate and download your certificate. So this code is number 38462. 38462. 38462. I don't think of cute, clever ways to say it, but 38462. Please make sure you write that code down. Please make sure that you put it in, you type it on the screen when you're prompted to do so at the end of the program. Other items that need to be cleared are really all the stuff that we talked about, right? We talked about the slip and fall. We talked about the parking tickets. We talked about other judgments. We talked about mortgages. All of these things need to be cleared prior to the date of the closing. Breaks in title. Okay, we pick up the fact that that the property is being sold by Joe Schmo, but we got this long-lost brother in California, and we see that it was really owned by Uncle Henry. How is it that Joe Schmo could say that he's the 100% owner and that he has the right to sell the property? Maybe he really does. Maybe there's some documentation between Uncle Henry's death and the long-lost brother and Joe Schmo that shows that Joe now does have 100% interest in the property. Maybe he bought out his brother's interest. Maybe he's executor of Uncle Henry's estate, and he's got letters testamentary, whatever it might be. I don't want to spend all that time trying to figure out the various permutations, but the bottom line is we show a break in title. We think that great Uncle Henry owns the property. Joe Schmo is the guy who signed the deed.